Hello and welcome to Sobricks. I'm Adam and this is Sobricks. This is my channel for reviewing Lego sets and building them and other Lego related stuff. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at the Lego DC Batman Mobile Bat Base set. This is set number 76160. It has 743 pieces and I paid $90 for this. This is a set from 2020 and so it is retired. And this one's pretty interesting. I think the aftermarket prices since it's retired have been sort of up and down at different points. There are some major online retailers that have this set for, close to $150. The retail price in 2020 was $90, so I paid the retail price even though I got this 4 years after the fact. And it's pretty cool because it has it has a pretty good selection of minifigures in here because this is all based on Batman Rebirth, and so some of these characters have maybe appeared in other sets, other ones maybe have not appeared in any other set, but these are specific versions. And one of the ones I was really interested in is Man-Bat because I think it's a hilarious character. I think it's really smart, really fun, very cool. There was a Man-Bat minifigure in the Lego Batman movie Batmobile, and I thought maybe that was one of the only sets that had that, but there's also that same one in a Batman Man-Bat Attack set, which was from like 2014. And then this one is the only set that comes with the Man-Bat Rebirth. So instead of kind of a brown torso and wings and arms and everything, it's got this different coloration and everything there. And there's a few other characters in here that make this pretty unique. I thought it was a cool idea. I haven't built a ton of like Lego trucks, semis. I know they've done like fire truck stuff like this. They've definitely done mobile police base things, but this is sort of taking that concept for the best detective thing here, and you also get some nice hero characters as well as some villain characters and everything in here, lots of little side builds and stuff. So this seemed really interesting to me. There's probably a good amount of stickers in here, and less than 800 pieces for $90, but with the minifigure selection and the tires and any other specialized pieces, it seemed like it was an alright deal, especially considering its retirement date and the price that I paid and the retail price. So I'm pretty comfortable with this. I'm excited to look at it. I don't have a great grasp on the scale of this, and so I'm pretty excited how it all kind of fits together, and if really all of these little side builds and everything can kind of fit on here and on the truck. So in this video I'm going to open this up, I'm going to put this together, and then I'm going to share my thoughts on it. So while I build, I will speed the video up and then I'll slow it back down to review this set. So until then, enjoy. Okay, so while we look at the build for this Lego DC Batman Mobile Bat Base set, I just wanted to say thanks for watching and then remind you, if you like the video, click the thumbs up. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button. That helps me a lot. And then I wanted to talk about the build. So really interesting stuff here. For the first bag of pieces, you got the Batman and the Batgirl, as well as some extra stuff you can kind of see over there. We do a couple of these smaller little vehicle builds, which integrate into the full set really well. And then we can start working on kind of this full thing. So first we're going to work on the cab area, the front kind of semi truck portion of this. We build in some different features for this here right at the beginning, a couple of those Technic bricks. We do have the hitch already on there, and then the build for the actual kind of cab area and storage area was all pretty interesting. I didn't expect it to go the way that it did, but I ended up really liking it. So we have some studs on the side stuff in there. We have these nice chimney or smokestack kind of exhaust things there. put the sticker on the windscreen. I don't like doing that, and I didn't do a great job, but I addressed that further in the full review after the build portion. And then we kind of finish this up with some lights and kind of armor going around the front, kind of the front bumper area, and then we add the tires. So that's all really, really cool. Play with some of the functions there, and now we start working on the trailer bed for this. So the trailer is really interesting. We start with kind of the wheelbase for the rear of the trailer, where those four wheels are going to go, and then we work on the kind of main body structure of the trailer. So we attach that together. We have a little function for the stand there so the trailer can stand on its own. Do use some of those longer Technic bricks, add the tires on there right away, and use that standing feature for this build. Kind of add the floor all around here, and then we can work on kind of the base layer for some of this stuff. We also add a little bit of a door kind of ramp on the rear, and then work on tiling out what is eventually going to be the walls for the mobile base. In the next bag of pieces, we're going to build this up even further, add a ton of internal details. You can see some of those gear and turntable pieces in there. We're also going to build up the wall, which is going to hold tons of accessories. We've got some functions built in there, different features that I do go through in the full review. And we add some boxes. I did make a small error there for a second, but corrected it quickly enough. And now we can work on sort of more of the back wall. So the way that this comes together, you do have kind of a front and a back, even though they're sort of just like a left and a right side of the trailer, but that is all nice. And so this is kind of the folding thing that goes over. It actually reminds me a little bit of that like gaming tournament truck in the City Line, where that one did have a pretty clear like side that was supposed to be displayed and played with the majority of it. So this one has that as well. There is stuff on the other side, but a lot of the access and a lot of the play features are favoring one side of the trailer here. And we're kind of finishing this back up. Realized I forgot a couple pieces, and I also had some color blindness issues with those translucent studs. I'm playing with the truck a little bit, and then onto the final bag of pieces here. This is a couple more minifigures in there, and then we build this other sub-assembly which actually does kind of combine with the trailer to make it look full there. We do have that kind of bare area up at the front towards the cab, but it also is its own kind of vehicle there as well, which is a nice change of pace. I liked it. I did make an error right there, and I correct it after I finished building everything, I believe. So this was a good build. It took me over an hour to put together, but I think it's really, really nice overall, and I had a lot of fun with all the different stuff in here and just making sure everything works good. And now on to my review for this set. Okay, so that is this Lego Batman Mobile Bat Base set. This is really cool, really fun, and it's big. I guess it's maybe about what I expected it to be. There's not a ton of pieces in this set, but it makes good use of them, covers a lot of ground, and this is really, really cool. There's a lot of functions, a lot of features, a lot of details, tons of stuff in this, and it's actually not all the way complete right now. So before I get ahead of myself, I will get this sort of all situated. Whoops, we lost a wing there on the rear. So get this all on there, and there's a lot to look at in this. So the first thing we will look at is the minifigures, and you get 6 of them in this set. Like I said at the beginning, some of these are kind of exclusive for this set, and maybe only in this iteration. So first one, we have Batman. This is really, really interesting. I don't see a ton with this cowl, and also with the gold. So Looking at the cowl, it does not have anything going across the chin, so it's open down there, and it uses that interesting kind of minifigure headpiece with the eye whitening up on the forehead, but not just the band. Nice expression there. It's a black minifigure head. The white could be whiter. We do have an alternate face, which is maybe Batman or Bruce Wayne smiling a little more. We do have kind of the spongy, softer cape with two holes. And then the torso is really neat because it's the dark bluish gray, but it has the gold utility belt there and the gold outline for the bat logo. Nothing on the midsection, nothing on the legs, nothing on the arms. Back of the torso has some of that musculature, the armor, and then the gold belt as well. We do have this cape, but this is maybe the first time I've seen this. We also get a couple other capes over here, so I haven't actually put those on yet, and I can. We have two other capes, which is very, very cool. They're not for other characters, and they have very different vibes, I would say. So we have this cape, which has it kind of like swooshing around Batman, something like that. That one's a two-hole. It's a little stiffer of a cloth piece. And the other one is just one hole. This one's really, really cool. I was pretty excited about getting those in there and surprised to see them. And this one is kind of more out. Like, well, it does stick out like that, but it could be behind him like this, kind of almost a glider bat cape there, which is very, very neat. So I haven't seen that in many sets, and I don't know if this exact Batman was available with a magazine or something at one point. I don't know if it came with the alternate capes there. I think this is the first time I've seen the alternate capes, so I really, really appreciate that, and I'll actually put the spongy kind of basic one back on for now. I'm going to try to keep these ones in some pretty good condition if I can, but that's a really cool Batman. Love to get those extra options. No like Bruce Wayne hair or face or anything, but that's all right. Next one we have here, this is really, really cool. This is Batgirl. So similar color suits in that dark bluish gray. We have a nice hairpiece here for Batgirl, kind of basic. We do have the kind of cowl or the mask on there, which is nice. We do have an alternate face, which is Batgirl maybe smiling a little bit more or looking a little more angry, baring teeth. And this one is without the teeth there. We have the torso, which is nice. It doesn't have the gold, but I do like this color in here. It's sort of that yellowish, orangish printing. I'm not sure what color it's supposed to be exactly. Printing looks okay, but they are doing it on this kind of darker bluish gray. Nothing on the midsection, nothing on the legs, nothing on the arms. The back does have a lot of detail on the back there, but we do have this really cool cape. So this is another cape cloth piece in a shape that I don't often see, and it's also kind of that double lined cape. So it's black there, but has this kind of lighter, is this blue or pink? I think it's blue on the inside, just one hole, and then it kind of goes around like that. So this is a really interesting cape as well, and we can see the back of the Batgirl torso printing there, which is really nice. Yeah, I love when they do these kind of two-sided capes. I think they're really, really cool. Happy to get that in this one as well. So we just see a little bit of that color kind of pop out from the front, but on the back, just a black cowl or cape there. And then we have a couple other characters besides the Bat one. The next one I will show is Nightwing. I don't know how many times Nightwing comes in Lego form, but this one is pretty good. I think the hair is all right, but I do love how the face is done. I like the mask a lot. And then we do have an alternate face again with kind of a smile, sort of a smirk there, something like that, versus more of a growl or kind of something. And then the torso printing is really good. There's some pretty nice details throughout this. They're a little bit hard to see just because of like printing a darker color onto black, but the kind of nice blue up there is really good. For Nightwing, back of the torso, pretty similar to the front. Nothing on the arms, nothing on the midsection, nothing on the legs. So not incredible as far as these, the Batman, Batgirl, Nightwing, no printing on any of the arms or on any of the legs. So that could be better, but I still think these are cool. The next one we have, I was really, really excited about this, is Man-Bat. So I always think that's really funny. Man-Bat, Batman, it's a cool villain. I have the brown one. That's the one that came in one of the Lego Batman movie sets for the Batmobile, and it also, that same brown one came in a set for maybe 2014 called Man-Bat Attack, but this is the Man-Bat Rebirth or something like that. So it's kind of white throughout here, and I love this. So we do have a really nice face printing there on a white minifigure head. Lots of detail, very expressive, got those red glowing eyes, and then the hair and the ears are its own separate piece that go on there. And we do have printing inside the ears, which is very cool too. And that does allow us to have an alternate face of maybe Man-Bat being scared or worried or sad or something like that. So a pretty different look from kind of the aggressive look here. And the ear and hair piece covers up the back, so that's really nice. We have these awesome arms which have the wings molded into them. You can't do a ton with them, but I just think it looks great like this. So we do have those. The torso is really, really nicely done. Super musculature, the abdomen, the pectorals. We also have kind of that fur and fluff kind of in the chest area. This one we do have printing on the midsection, and we have printing on the legs, some pockets up there, as well as some kind of dirt, some dust, some splotches, some mud, something like that. Looking at the rear, we have kind of that fur around the collar there and more of the muscles on the back. So really, really happy to get this version of Man-Bat. The next one is a character I'm not super familiar with, and that is Bronze Tiger, but they did do a good job here. So they have these claws for their accessory, and then looking at their face or their mask here, it's like a brown minifigure head there, but with like whiskers or scars or different things around there. Still the kind of white eyes, nice face. No alternate face on this one because no helmet or anything, head piece, hair piece. And then looking at the torso, this is crazy detailed. So first, right off the bat, I love that belt buckle that is on the torso. Bronze little tiger there. I like the tiger stripe kind of undershirt area. It has a sort of necklace printed on there with some teeth or some claws, and then we also are wearing a jacket, so we see the zipper and the drawstrings and a little bit of detail kind of down in the corner here, which is nice. Nothing on the midsection, nothing on the legs, nothing on the arms. Back of the torso is pretty simple, but again, you get kind of that bottom of the sweatshirt kind of thing there, and the hood on the back. So very good. I don't have any of the Bronze Tiger before. Like I said, it's not a character I'm super familiar with. Don't know how many times that's appeared in the Lego minifigure form, but I love this torso a lot. Legs are fine. And the last one we have, again, I think this is a version that's only appeared in maybe one or two sets, potentially more, but that is Mr. Freeze, and I think this is the rebirth Mr. Freeze as well. The Bronze Tiger might be too. We do have this freeze ray here, little brick built accessory with the translucent light blue flame piece there, which is nice. And then looking at Mr. Freeze, we do use one of these kind of magnifying glass like helmet pieces, these globe pieces. So they might use those on Mysterio and different things. Well, the Mysterio one actually I think is not clear, so it doesn't have the same magnification effect. But then we have the white minifigure head with the goggles on there and the bright red eyes. No alternate face, just the kind of goggles band going around the back. Stern expression there, and it does have like this little bit of effect of making the head look bigger when it's in the kind of dome piece or the helmet there. The torso has their kind of cryogenic kind of suit with different straps and tubing and different stuff. So some good detail there. Nothing on the midsection, nothing on the arms, nothing on the legs. Back of the torso does have some really, really cool detail for the back there for Mr. Freeze's suit. So I really, really like the back of this a lot, which is great to see. And that is 6 minifigures for this set. I'm super pleased with these. I think they could be better for sure. They could be better. I think this is from 2020 maybe. This set, that is. And yeah, only one of these has leg printing, midsection printing. None of them have arm printing, but we do have like some special arms in here. I think for the most part the torsos are all really, really well done. I think the faces are well done, and I'm okay with the accessories. I really like Batgirl's cape. I really like the alternate capes for Batman. So those are the 6 minifigures. I don't know what these go for in the aftermarket or individually if they're sold loose. I could see, this version of Man-Bat being $10, $15, $20 or something, and some of these other ones that are either, only in this set or just hard to find and somewhat rare, can carry a little bit of a price. I do really like, I don't know if this Batman, I don't know if I have this with the gold kind of trim for the belt and the logo, so good to get that. Great to get some cloth capes that I haven't seen before. And then the rest of this set is this sort of semi-truck bat vehicle here called the mobile bat base. This is awesome, and I am gonna try to figure out how I want to start this, but the first thing that you build, and I think how I'll start, is the sort of what do they call it? The semi, the front end of this that pulls the trailer behind it. This is awesome. Really, really cool here. Really, really happy with this. So this starts with some Technic bricks in there. Build out the axles here, which is good. So it's a little bit Technic building, but then I loved the build for the full cab and everything here. It builds out in a way, and it has some hidden features that I think are really important, and they did a good job hiding it. Looking at it from the front, it looks awesome. It looks like a tank. It looks like really well armed, well protected. We got lights all over there, tons of little details. There are stickers in this set. I do have the capes kind of on the sticker sheet. So these go up to 17. There's a couple duplicates like number 11, number 6, number 17. So, some stickers, but they do play some important roles in the details of this. So I'll kind of point those out as I go. We do have one on the windscreen here. I'm a little bit I'm not thrilled about how I put that on there. My sticker sheet was actually not cut very well, so if you can see on certain parts of the sticker sheet, it's a rather thick border that's left, and then on the other side is very thin. And that means that these stickers were a little bit hard to apply because they weren't equidistant from the edges, which means in order to get, like, for example, that gray stripe for like this one here to line up with the brick built detail, I would have had to like move this over, and the gaps on the sides would have been a little uneven, and I may still just get some Windex and remove that and move it over to try to line it up a little better. This one feels okay, but there are several stickers the whole sticker sheet was not cut perfectly, and I try to do my best on it. I know there's a sticker down here. That one's okay, but it's another one where I knew, like, I was trying to get the arrows kind of centered, but I also usually like to line up the stickers to kind of be the same distance from the edge over here, and edge over here, and it ends up being a little bit off there. So that's not great. The stickers on the side here for this sort of area, those are fine. I thought those were a little bit easier, and because they're not following this kind of stripe going down there, it's not as noticeable if they're off a little bit. This one I feel like is applied pretty well and does line up well, so if I can get the windscreen one shifted over a little bit, that would look a lot better. I don't like putting stickers on windscreens, but that happens occasionally, so we do have that. But this is really, really neat. So it uses a mixel joint, ball joint here on the rear. I don't know how many studs this is wide with the wheels. Maybe it's like 10, something like that, roughly. But this just feels so aggressive and cool. We have kind of these exhaust stacks or like smoke stacks up there. We do have the wings kind of at an angle using a cheese wedge here. And it's pretty easy to get access inside. This top part comes off. It just uses a 2x2 jumper with the one stud there, so we do have a good amount of room inside, so we can get access in there. There's no like stickers or dash or anything in here, but we do have a steering wheel, and I like how this is all tiled out. I love this windscreen piece. I really like how they did the kind of front end of this with the different lights and these kind of grill pieces here, as well as these pieces. I think that makes it look like super militarized. There's a lot of angle changes throughout this, and there's some hidden stuff in here. So as you can see, we do have a little bit of a Technic thing here, and that's kind of a button you can push, a sliding thing. And that's because up front, this little piece can open up, and what we can do there then is if I put that down all the way and I push the kind of Technic bit at the end, there is a little side build here. I think one of the first things you build, which is supposed to be kind of a jet ski, a water faring vehicle, water scooter type thing, and it's really, really small. I've seen Batman versions of this. So I think in the Penguin Arctic roller set, the Penguin had their own kind of little thing like this. Super basic, but I think it gets the job done. It's only 2 studs wide for the majority of it. Nice handlebars here. Sticker on the front again. I think what is on the left side now has a thicker border than on the right side, so where the gray kind of outline of that detail goes like right up to the edge of the sticker here, where over here on this side we have a little bit more room. So realistically, I probably should have lined this sticker up to be like perfectly at the edge so it could be centered. That's a little bit frustrating, but that, you know, some of these sticker sheets aren't printed perfectly, and I just try to do my best, and kind of I'm okay with it. I'm at peace with it. So Batgirl could ride on this, Batman could ride on this, you know, Nightwing could ride on this, whatever, and it fits in there really easily. There's just some room for it to go in, and then we have this little mechanism here to kind of propel that out. Pretty simple kind of function there, and to get this to fit, you have to curl in the handlebars or the steering yoke there, and then it's pretty easy to kind of just line that up, fold up the thing, and then, you know, this connection here with the clips is done. It's a pretty sturdy collection, so just like hitting this isn't going to make it come out. It's not going to make this fold all the way down on its own. That would be cool, but it would also kind of be then maybe a little too easy to get it to actuate and pop out of there. So you do have to manually kind of go up to the front and lower this sort of ramp, but that doesn't bother me too much. And then this little ski-doo, jet ski, water ski type thing pops right out of there. Yeah, not a ton of internal details in here, but there is room for a minifigure, which is great. And I think that's most of the stuff here. The build was fun. There is different angled pieces, inverted slopes. We have lots of different lines kind of cut throughout this, which makes it feel very, like I said, bulky and kind of armored and neat. So I think that's all done pretty well. and I like this overall. It's a very early thing you build, and I think it does its job. And then the rest of the set kind of is all contained on the trailer for this, which is the mobile bat base. So this is cool because it does have a little stand down here. So when you take it off of the hitch or whatever, off of the sort of semi there, you can still have this stand up on its own, which is very, very cool. And there's a lot to look at here, and I'm actually going to have to kind of go about this in a particular way, and I'm going to try to go in the order that it's built in, which means one of the features of this, which I kind of already showed at the beginning, is that this whole portion is removable. And then with that off, we can see kind of what the deal is. Let me get that back on there. And this is great. So it's the same size wheels on the back. You do start by building kind of the wheelbase at the rear here, and that's really nice. So it uses some of the same kind of Technic stuff back there, and there's a hidden compartment under there as well, so you can maybe kind of see through that. And that's using this at the back. There's another ramp at the back. It doesn't have the same kind of mechanism, but there is a little vehicle in there, another little side build, which is this bat bike, bat cycle here. Again, 2 stickers on this, so one here, one here. You know, for these, I actually think I did a pretty good job. I know I don't love those because they're like weird stickers. I have this Red Hood figure here that's quite valuable that had to do the same thing on the side, like put those stickers there, and I've done it on a few other things. These, you know, they did have kind of some miscut things, just like everything else does on this sheet, but I think I did okay here. So we got the wheels, we got the handlebar up there, we have a Batarang at the back, and of course Batman or one of the other characters can operate this, and this can stand up on its own. So cool to get a little bat bike there using some of these pre-made bike pieces and the kind of motorcycle type piece. And that actually is pretty easy to line up as well. So we kind of have the center there, and at the rear we have those pieces, or you know, up here we have pieces where the bike will kind of slot into. And if I pop this in and get it something like that, it's not going to roll out the sort of front of that. There's no room just because of the height of other parts. So it does fit in there quite nicely. We can fold up the back, and then it's tucked away, and I'm not worried about it falling out, you know, coming out of the front or anything like that. So it just comes out of the back. So we do have that ramp and that door there, a couple more stickers for the rear that where the ramp is, and we can see kind of in there where the bike is tucked away, which is great. After you kind of build this wheelbase here, you do use some pretty long Technic bricks to build the trailer area, and up front, you know, a lot of this is pretty bare because but it's nicely tiled out, good angles and stuff like that, different translucent stuff for lights, a little bit of extra kind of yellow and black in there. And then you build all these stuff on the back, which is kind of like a traditional semi-trailer in some ways. We do have the Batman sticker here. On the back side, we do not have that. So it is kind of has a side that's like the action side, and one side that's maybe less interesting. And we do tile out the top nicely, the roof here, and it has that kind of gray stripe that continues all the way from the trailer onto this kind of assembly and down to the cab, which is very cool. Nice to see that consistent there. And this has a lot of internal details. So one of the things, and you may have already seen this, there is some like Technic stuff back here. There's kind of a little handle here. You know, it's a modified plate with the bars coming off of it. So this opens up, and this creates this mobile bat base here, which, like I said, they've done some like mobile police unit things for Lego City, but we have the bat base. So inside here we have a ton of little details and accessories. Along the back wall, we have these kind of light translucent blue lightsaber bar elements. I think those are for Nightwing. They're accessory of a batarang there. We have a little explosive TNT or something like that. We have a monitor here which says remote connection established, has the Wayne Enterprises logo, the bat logo, maybe some maps, some GPS stuff. So that is a sticker. Over here we have a wrench, we have a saw, and then we have these little consoles. So this one has a chair, a seat for somebody to sit, and then we have some controls on either side. Those are both stickers. Would have liked to see those maybe be printed. This kind of console on the front is also a sticker. And then over here we have a coffee mug. We have kind of this, I call it like a chainsaw looking piece. Right here we have kind of that stun gun type piece with the syringe in there, and then we also have a stud shooter, kind of the older style stud shooter with an orange stud in there. And those are all on these kind of splat gear like pieces. Now I had to kind of fiddle with this a little bit to get it to work, but there is another splat gear piece, a black one, coming out the side, which you can access right here. And I found I have to kind of, it can get hung up a little bit and get stuck like there, but if I put kind of downward pressure on this a little bit so it doesn't hit any of the studs that are like right beneath it on the inside there, if I put that downward pressure on there, then it can spin pretty well, and we can kind of get the stud shooter to rotate around, to maybe shoot out the side, to maybe shoot out this way because it's kind of at an angle there. And we also get the little kind of seating area there to spin as well, which is super fun. I like that. On the underside we have kind of lights on the roof there with the translucent, so that's all really good. Super simple connection to get that on there, and it does close up really nicely. Pretty minimal gap if there is any. Looking at the back side, yeah, this pops out a little bit, this kind of slopes in, but these sort of gaps are kind of not that bothersome, especially because this is, I think, pretty clearly the back end of this, if this is for play or display. So it kind of has an orientation that's it's looking for, and that it's kind of meant to be set towards. And then we have a few other things. You can see we have these boxes over here. So in the bottom one we have flippers, bat flippers, the kind of accessory for minifigs that are used for put on minifigures' feet for swimming aid, and that might be with whoever is operating the kind of jet ski ski-doo type thing. And then right above that we have a compartment for studs, which are the same color studs as the one for the stud shooter. I've said it before with many other sets in many other videos. I love when they have a place for to store projectiles, because it helps them not get lost, and it just allows you to have access to them there. So that's always really important to me. I think they did a good job with it there. On the back side we have some other stuff. So first here we can look at the rear with the lights. We got the wings, we have the back wall, and then we have this over here. So if I open up the kind of trailer again so we can see in there, you can see a kind of prison cell door, like the barred door there, and there is a kind of combination digital key thing here, and we can open that up. Let me see if I can get in there. It does use just a normal door frame. Come on. There we go. So we can open that up, and there's a kind of a little prison cell in there, sort of, or a supervillain transport type cell, a holding cell for taking Mr. Freeze or Man Bat to Arkham or something like that. But but there is another feature here at the rear. So that is what this Technic bit is. And that is just a very simple switch that if I turn it, it knocks out the back wall here. So we have the back wall. It does have this kind of handle with the modified brick there with the bar element. And then inside we have the same kind of Technic thing here. So it just flips. It goes from one way to the other. It doesn't matter which way it is. So that's fine. Then we just have the jumper stud here where this connects. Use a couple of these slopes to kind of seal up or look like it's sealing up without being in there too much. So very minimal gap. You might not notice that that's what that is. And then we could have this just pop off. This is, so I think for play, you know, a place for maybe one of the supervillains that's being transported in that holding cell to break out of there. I think the kind of launching, busting out of this door, maybe exploding out of this door with some of that dynamite or whatever works better. Flipping this switch up if it starts down, kind of getting it like that, but going the other way works as well, so it doesn't really matter. It's a pretty simple mechanism that just functions right, so that's very, very cool. It's a little bit cramped in there, and I'm actually not sure, you know, like Man-Bat isn't going to fit back there. Mr. Freeze maybe could. It'd be, you know, they can get mostly in there. If I were to close this, I'm assuming it's close, so you can maybe get them in there. If you took off their helmet or something, it'd be easier. You know, Bronze Tiger without the claws, or maybe with the claws at the side. Maybe they could get in there. There's not a ton of room, so we do use the Lego kind of door frame piece, so there's no studs there. So you only have one row of studs, and you're limited by this a little bit. So it's not super robust. If it could, you know, having maybe one or two more studs in length on this would make that a little more doable to have a villain back there, if that is supposed to be the intended kind of play and storyline and everything, which I think it is, but that's just based on kind of my own thing. I'm not sure if the box shows anything like that. Oh, sure, the box does show, for example, Mr. Freeze, you know, jumping out of the back, having just blasted their way out. So, you know, you can probably make it work for play. With a little imagination, a lot of things are possible. So I don't mind that right here because they did pack a lot in. I do think, you know, we do have some open space here, which is nice to put figures in, but maybe we could have, you know, added a couple more clips over here, or gotten a little closer to the wall, and then maybe moved one of these so that we could have an extra stud for, you know, having more space in the holding cell there. I think that would be nice. It's probably doable. It might even be a modification that I can make on my own. And that's kind of all the details back here. So lots of stuff in there. It does feel like it's a bat cave on the move in some ways. So there's accessories for different heroes. There's things to you know, fight or battle the villains with. There's a place for, you know, storytelling. They have storage in here for different accessories and projectiles. You got the little spinning thing. You got the function back here. So all of that is really, really cool to me. I like to see that a lot. I'm trying to think if there's any stickers I missed in here, but I don't believe so. So that's kind of the trailer. The mechanism to hold it down like this so it can stand on its own is just very simple Technic. Does use this kind of joint here to clip onto that ball joint, that mixel joint there, and it's pretty. Is that on there right? Yeah. So this is fine. It's a little bit hard to, you know, turn. It's a little bit cumbersome, but again, with play, I don't think this is going to fit on like Lego City streets necessarily. It is wider. We can see up at the top here, this is 8 studs plus the tires, plus this comes out a little bit, so I would say it's more like 10 studs, but still a great toy, a great kind of trailer, semi-truck kind of thing for a DC hero kind of base. And then we have this. So this does fit on the trailer, which closes it up, makes it look like it has a full kind of thing there. Pop this off so we can kind of see what that looks like on its side. So this is what it would look like if it's full, and maybe, you know, this is on there, and that's fine. It does flow very continuously here, which I really like, but this is its own subassembly and is its own kind of accessory here. So I really like this as well. This, I would say, is like, I want to call it like a bat pod or something. It's not a bat copter, it's maybe a bat plane. It's sort of this like weird hovercraft looking thing. I almost thought it was maybe a submersible, but I don't believe it is. There are some more stickers on here. So over here for these kind of vents, there, those are stickers. Right here and right here are stickers. Up at the front we have some stickers in there. Again, I love this color for the thing here. Not too many gaps looking at the side of that, just a little bit, but that is the nature of stuff like this. We can open that up. We can fit figures in here. We do have a little control console in there. I believe that one is printed, which is good. I want to say that that's printed. I believe so. So nice, we can fit a figure in there, and we have some other little features here. It almost looks like we have like jet propulsion here, and then you can see these ratchet joint pieces, ratchet hinge. So we have these little tiny wings that kind of fold out, and they can come out in, you know, they have a pretty good range of motion, but I really like how they fold in, and it has sort of this like rim of the dark bluish gray kind of stripe through there, and it's all very, very flush, and then you can pop those out really easily. And those wings, I think, look kind of cool. They do look a little bit small to me, but I think this kind of operating as a little hovercraft, a little drone, a little plane, or a glider or something that can be a part of the trailer for the semi, but then also kind of go off on its own. And that's not the only kind of extra thing here. So at the rear, you can see we do have some tires here next to some of this propulsion, and that is because we have this little bat quad bike kind of four-wheeler little thing here. Again, it has a little steering yoke, 4 wheels, a little clip on the back, lights up front, and a sticker with the bat logo. So again, that can hold, you know, some of these bat characters, and they can sit on there and grab hold of this and sort of ride this around. And it could also be something that is, you know, deployed from the back of this pod, you know, to the ground. So it's pretty simple. I actually didn't expect this. It's very, very simple. It does use one of those like step pieces there, which does give it this kind of forward rake look almost, even though it doesn't really have one. It just has the studs, the plate there kind of at an angle, which is nice, kind of a forward angle. So it's for this little four-wheeler type thing. And the clip on the back just clips to the bar element up there, and then it sits at a slight angle, so there's not a ton of movement here or range of motion, but I like that because it does cover up the back of this a lot and make it feel like more complete. I also thought, you know, maybe it could just roll on those wheels, and it's not perfect, but it's almost there. It's almost like it could, and I really like that as well. So that could be deployed off of the back of this as we're kind of using it, and that's another little accessory there. So you do get the sort of quad bike four-wheeler type thing. You do get the motorcycle bat bike, and you get that little bat jet ski up at the front. So we're covering land, we're covering water, we are also covering air with this, and then we have all of the other kind of necessary elements with different accessories and tools and bat things to make this come together. So everything kind of unfolded, everything out here on its own. There's a lot of places for minifigures to occupy. You could have people in here, someone driving, some piloting this, and then you could still or you could have people on these little smaller crafts. So it's almost like we have 6 independent little vehicles here. Now I know the trailer is not totally independent. It can't really move on its own, but it can stand on its own because it does have this sort of feature here that allows it to just stand on its own, disconnected from the front sort of semi, which is great. So it's almost like we have 6 little vehicles here. We got 6 minifigures. There's not villain vehicles in this, but there are ways for the villains to interact and stuff. I'm actually a little bit surprised. There's only one stud shooter in all of this, and that's the one that's inside the trailer, kind of on that splat gear there. I don't know if that's supposed to be something that was maybe confiscated from one of the villain characters, or if that is supposed to be one of the bat weapons, I should say, I guess. And this doesn't have stud shooters on it. None of these little things do. This doesn't. It feels like all of this stuff is good at making, maybe like taking fire, but not delivering too much of it. But as sort of delivery methods and travel methods for the heroes themselves, I think these are all really, really cool, really, really unique. So that is everything in here. I think that's most of the features. I don't think I forgot anything. I think that's kind of all of the stickers, and now I just have to work to kind of get this all back together. And I feel like this packs quite a punch in terms of how much stuff is in here. So the way that this connects just connects a little bit to a couple studs. I don't even think it connects to the studs on the rear, so it's pretty easy, but again, very minimal gapping throughout, and it feels quite nice. It's just, if I were to turn this on its side, just the couple studs that hold that pod plane thing on there aren't super robust, so it's not a super solid connection, but a lot of the other stuff is. So good to get that, and load up the bike at the rear here, and then we can load up the jet ski at the front and get everything back in. I would say, generally speaking, I feel like this doesn't have a ton of wasted space, and it actually might be too cramped just because the jail cell is or the holding cell is a little iffy. I think there might be some modifications that could be done, and there does feel like open space up here, but when it's all together, not really, especially once you know that there's the wings and the little quad four-wheeler type thing there. So not a ton of wasted space in this, and I think that's good. I think they did a really good job, and all of that stuff, all those accessories, all those side builds, all of those vehicles, all of that stuff, and it's still not that many pieces in this set, actually. And as you can see, like, if I were to try to have this on its side, it's not going to work for me because the connections aren't super strong, but that's only really for the video's sake. I mean, for the most part, this is going to be on its wheels, and then it's all perfectly fine. I just like to try to turn stuff on its side occasionally when I'm filming from top down like this, so I can make sure to show everything. So I can kind of get this like that, have this closed up, maybe I can have it open kind of on its side, and then we know that we have everything sort of packed away, and that's everything that is in this set, this mobile bat base. We'll show the extra pieces. So like I said, you do get the extra capes, there are the flippers in here, there are the extra projectiles in there, and then the rest of the extra pieces, we do have like the bolt or the syringe type piece, a little bit of Technic, the claws for the bronze tiger, and the extra batarang there, your 1x1s, your studs, your tiles. We do get an extra of the printed kind of control panel for the holding cell, the stud shooter kind of triggering mechanism, all your little pieces, your 1x1s, your studs, your tiles, your slopes, a little bit of Technic stuff in there. So that is all your extra pieces. And this set is 743 pieces, 743, and it retailed for $90 in 2020. I paid $90 for it in 2024. I think that's a super fair deal, actually. You know, price per piece, whatever. We got 8 tires that are pretty big, got the big windscreen in here, and 6 minifigures. 6 minifigures that are all pretty good and potentially exclusive. I think the minifigures could be better, even with these same characters. You know, a little bit of leg printing goes a long way, I think, for me personally, but I do appreciate the extra cloth stuff here, which I don't know how many of these kind of things they produce, so I do really appreciate that. There's not a lot of prints. I guess there seems like a lot of stickers, but it wasn't that bad, and they were paced pretty well throughout, so it never really bothered me. This is not even close to the biggest sticker sheet I've seen, even for a Lego DC Batman set or many, many other sets. So not too much of an issue there, except for the miscut kind of on these stickers. I would have liked that to have been done a little bit differently. I think this is fine. Yes, less than 750 pieces for $90, but when I take into consideration maybe $5 each for, you know, minifigures, or a little bit less, but now post-retirement, maybe more, I feel like I got this super fair. I think I've seen these listed online for in the $100, $120, $130, $140, $150 on different retailers. I'm not sure what the market has looked like since it's retired. I don't know if this is a set that people are really clamoring to get, but I was really, really interested when I saw this. I was able to get this brand new sealed from a local store to me that had this and just had it for the just the manufacturer's suggested retail price, which it feels great. That's also how I got like the Atlantis set and a few other, I think some other Batman sets that were a little bit older, but I was able to get them for their retail price there. And that's always super nice. So I'm very grateful I was able to do that. I think this is fun, and I think this is a good deal, honestly. If this was released in 2024, I'm having a little bit of trouble thinking that this would release for $90. 2020 wasn't that long ago, but I do know that like since 2020, various sets of various types have had some and some themes have had price increases. You know, comparing this to some more recent like Marvel vehicles that have way fewer pieces than this, fewer minifigures than this, and have a pretty similar or comparable retail price. I'm thinking Lego would probably put this out at $100 today, at least, potentially more. So $90 feels really good. I think $90 in 2020 probably felt pretty good too. And so I'm okay with it. Really happy to get the Man-Bat, the Mr. Freeze. Really happy about the capes, including Batgirls, and then tons of fun, cool stuff to display, cool stuff to play with, some built-in narrative, some built-in story, all inside one relatively big box, but for less than $100. And I think staying under that $100 mark is very, very good for a set like this. So I'm super pleased with this. This is a real joy, pleasure to build, pleasure to talk about. So I'm glad I was able to share this with people who watch my videos, and I think that is it. So if you like this video, please click the thumbs up and give it a like. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button down below so you can stay up to date on all the Lego videos I'll be doing here in the future, including more Lego DC, more Lego Batman, more retired sets, and then tons of other Lego sets from all different themes, all different shapes, size, price point, piece count, tons of different stuff. So subscribe so you don't miss any of those upcoming Lego videos. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers. It'd be amazing to get there. I can't believe we're at 1,500. And I will probably do another giveaway, even though I'm still like lagging behind on the 1K giveaway. But if you are a winner for that, make sure you get in contact with me. I know there are several of you who already have, and I will reach out to you and stuff in the very, very near future, and we will get that all sorted out, and I'll get some kind of surprise packages sent out to those giveaway winners. And then maybe for 2,000 or something, I'll do another thing, or maybe I'll hold off until 2,500 or 5,000 or something, because I do hope the channel continues to grow. So thank you very much. And then if you wanted to support this channel in a different way by like giving money to the channel, there are ways to do that here on YouTube with membership, supers, and thanks. And I have the Patreon. It's in the video description on my channel page, patreon.com/sobrick. So if you do want to support the channel by donating money or giving money to allow this channel to kind of keep being solvent and keep going, which it's not necessary, it's not needed, but it is very, very helpful. There are ways to do that, and I'm just very, very grateful for everyone who watches, and I'm working on redoing kind of the membership perks and everything like that. I did just put out a members only video looking at the Ghostbusters Ecto 1, the Icons one. So if you're interested in my takes on that, there is a hour-long video up for paid supporters right now, and it might be free eventually, but not for a little while at least. So if you're interested, check out those things. And I think that's it. So with all that said, until next time, thanks. Bye.